Y'all, we're getting ready to head out to one of my baby grand's kindergarten graduation, but as soon as we get home, I'm going to come right back here and we're going to have a chat. So stay tuned. I'll see you all in a little bit.
I look fine. I look so good.
All right, y'all, we're home. That little graduation was precious. We had such a good time. Y'all, my baby grands are growing up. Anyway, so I wanted to come on here and make this video and talk to you guys about the smallest victims of addiction. And I'm sure that y'all know what I'm talking about. Normally I am talking to you about a parent's perspective and our feelings and, you know, how a mama's heart breaks and all the things. And y'all, I looked into Aiden's little eyes tonight, or actually earlier today, and you know, it hit me right then that this is something I need to talk about. It's kind of been on my heart for a little bit, and then I looked at him and I knew right then that this video needed to be made, okay? Because a lot of times they get left out, okay? And we don't mean to do it. We honestly don't. But, you know, we think that they don't know, that they don't understand, that, you know, they're just kids and they don't. We're wrong, okay? We are totally wrong. And not every one of these kids that are left behind, either because their parent is an addict or because their parent was an addict, if y'all understand that, and they get left behind. And that breaks my heart. And not all of them have grandparents that can step in and can raise them. You know, a lot of these kids are put into the system, and sometimes that system helps the situation, and sometimes the system is a complete flop, and those kids just get lost, okay? Lost in the system until, you know, they turn 18 and they're put out and it's over and done with. Some kids get really good foster homes, and, you know, the even luckier ones, they get adopted by the people that took them in, and they live their best lives. And some are not that fortunate. Some, like Aiden, grandparents are able to step in. I am very blessed and thankful that we were able to, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. That's my grandchild. I was ready to fight whoever I needed to fight in order for him to be here. And, you know, I'm very thankful that we were able to do that. Some kids have aunts, uncles, or cousins that can step in. And y'all, I just want to tell you, thank you. Thank you for stepping up. When the parents couldn't, you did. And I just want to say thank you, because these babies deserve all the love, all the protection, all the stability, all the things. They deserve it. They deserve it probably more than anybody else does. It's not their fault that their parents make bad choices. We'll say that, okay? It's not their fault that they were brought into this world of a huge, pardon me, shitstorm, okay? It's not their fault that their little worlds are just one big shitstorm. It's not, okay? And a lot of people in this world, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, can look at these kids and all they see is nothing. They don't see any hope. All they see is just trash, something to throw away. And that breaks my heart. There are so many babies born addicted because their mamas couldn't stop using while pregnant with them, and they have a challenge all on their own. They didn't ask to be brought into the world with that. They didn't. They still deserve the love and stability and protection and compassion and the warm meals on the table and the warm clothes and the I love yous and I'm here for you and the hugs and the kisses. They deserve it all. They do. You know, that's why I say they are the smallest victims in this shitstorm called addiction. And I'm sorry, but that's my term for it. Okay? That's my term for it. And that's exactly what it is. Because it's a trickle-down effect. You've got the addict, okay? And then underneath them, you've got everybody that loves and cares about them, okay? And that addiction trickles down. But you know where the first stop is? If they have children, the first stop is their children, okay? I mean, I know how we feel as parents, okay? Can you imagine how their kids feel? Can you imagine what they go through? I've spent the past couple of days trying to put myself in those shoes, okay? And let me tell you, that's really hard to do. It really is. You know, having the childhood that I had, and I've documented a few stories about my childhood, you know, and being brought up by my grandmother. Aiden and I have similar but different stories. You know, I was raised by my grandmother, and you know, I always wondered what was wrong with me, why they couldn't raise me. And you know, back then that just wasn't, I mean, my parents were not addicts. They suffered a huge loss, and they had PTSD and a whole lot of other things. My oldest brother was killed by a drunk driver. He was on a motorcycle and he was hit by a drunk driver and killed instantly. And it just so happened that my parents were driving behind him. He had just bought the motorcycle and they were driving behind him, and they were a quarter of a mile from home, which is right down the hill from me right now. Our home was right down the hill, and they were a quarter of a mile from here. He was almost home, and they watched their oldest child killed. And you know, this was in, I think it was 5 years before I was born. Yeah, I think it was 5 years before I was born. So, you know, I was the last one. And when I came along, sorry about that, I was being summoned to come in the kitchen. So I had to go take care of that. Anyway, you know, that's why I say mine and Aiden's stories are similar but different. Okay. My parents couldn't raise me. They didn't have the mental capability of doing so, I guess. I don't know. Back then, it wasn't talked about. It wasn't mentioned. And, I was always told that my grandmother never said anything because she was always afraid that mom and dad would get mad at her and come and get me. So, and she didn't want me to have to live through whatever it was. So anyway, there are so many kids out there that are being raised by people other than their parents because of addiction, or that are missing their parents, again, because of addiction. And y'all, these kids, they know more than we think they do. They understand more than we think they do. I honestly wish that we could take on more of these kids that have been totally devastated by addiction. I wish we could. We're just not capable of doing that right now. Honestly, I wasn't prepared to become a full-time mom again at the age of 47. Okay? We had all of maybe 2 years being empty nesters, and the next thing I know, I'm the mom to a newborn again. And I was not prepared for that. Okay? This is not easy by any means. It's not. It is not. But you know what? It is so totally worth it. Because that little boy in there deserves the world. He deserves to know that he's loved, he's protected, he's wanted. Because a lot of them don't even feel like they're wanted. He's wanted. He's stable. I mean, think about it, guys. These addicts can't even hold down a home for themselves. And if they're dragging their kids around, bless their hearts. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. They're not going to get clean for their kids. Trust me, if that would have been the cure-all, Joseph would have been clean 7 years ago when Aiden came along. We didn't even know Aiden existed until he was 2 weeks old. And his mother decided to grow a conscience and finally tell us that, Aiden was here. And I prayed hard. Lord, let this be what Joseph needs. Because y'all, he was in such a bad place at that point in time that I just knew I was going to lose him. And I prayed, Lord, let this baby be what it takes for him to see that his life is worth living, that his family loves him, that this baby, this new little baby, is here and loves him. And y'all, it didn't work. Clearly it didn't work. It didn't. It breaks my heart to know that there are kids out there that are in such horrible conditions and are having such rough lives and are going through things that no kid ever should. No kid ever should. They're seeing things no kid ever should. Okay? Never, ever, ever should they see or hear or deal with the things that they're having to deal with. I mean, I shudder to just even try to imagine. I can't. I can't. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And none of them asked to be brought into this. None of them deserve this. I keep saying that over and over and over again, you know, and I keep looking into my grandson's eyes, and he's a fighter. He is a fighter. He is. He is. You know, his dad has been in and out of his life. When he's clean, you know, the court says, hey, you've got to give him supervised visitation. You supervise him. And he knows that it is only when he's clean. So when he's clean, he is involved. And when he's not, he's not. Y'all, the cry for help is louder than ever from these babies, okay? Something's got to be done. There's too many kids losing mama and daddy, or mom or dad. Too many kids. Way too many. Too many kids going into the system, okay? Just way too many. Too many families broken by this shitstorm called addiction. And the kids are the ones that suffer the most. They are. They're the ones that suffer the most. That's unacceptable to me. Totally unacceptable to me. You know, we as adults, we can handle things. We can deal with what we need to deal with. These babies, they can't do it. This needs to stop. Okay? This needs to stop. These babies do not deserve to be scarred the way they're being scarred. They don't. This needs to stop. I don't know if us calling our state representatives, you know, I'm about ready to call them and be like, you know, where do you stand? I'm the mother of an addict. I know that there's a ton of drugs coming across the border, probably both borders. If we knew the truth, it's probably both of them. Where do you stand on that? What do you propose we can do in order to stop losing our children to addiction? What do you propose to help these children of addicts to stop losing their parents? I'm ready to do that. I honestly am. And honestly, I think I'm going to start Monday morning. And I'm going to start calling. I'm ready to have a sit-down meeting, if that's what it takes, and if that's what's allowed. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Let me know y'all's thoughts on that, okay? Because these kids don't deserve this heartbreak. They don't. They don't. So y'all, I'm going to end the video here. And it's getting close to this old girl's bedtime. And I'm going to do some thinking. I am. I do want to remind you all, don't forget, Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be going live with our weekly check-in and chat. Y'all don't want to miss that, okay? This is where we check in with everybody. We chat in the comments. We come together, and our little community it's like a big old hug, okay? It is. It's like a big old hug from the whole community. And y'all don't want to miss that. So be sure to be here Sunday night. I'm trying to do that every Sunday night, and as long as you guys keep showing up, I will keep doing it, and we will keep checking in on each other, making sure everybody's okay. Okay? So, much love to each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all are my rocks, okay? Y'all are. You just don't even know. You don't. You know, there's some days that are harder than others, and it's like somebody knows just exactly what to say to just take all those clouds away. And it's just amazing. But anyway, much love to each and every one of y'all, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye, y'all.